Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Today we are talking about the Hijab 30 challenge. I'm your host, Ashley Pearson Khan, and I am joined by Amber Miller, also known as Nikki. So I'm going to call her Nikki today. She is from the US. She's a COVID survivor, a jewelry designer, and since having survived COVID, she has decided to make a positive change in the world. So she's participating in the World Hijab Day Challenge and wearing hijab for, I believe, 30 days. Is that right, Nikki?
Correct. And I'm also keeping the fast for Ramadan too.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you done that before?
Yes, and this will be my first time actually keeping the fast all the way through. Like I've been a little bit naughty in the past and like ate before the fast was supposed to break.
That happens sometimes. It can be really challenging, especially if you've never fasted before, and I think sometimes too, depending on like where you live and how the weather is, some days are really long as well, depending on the time of year that Ramadan falls because it changes just a little bit every year. So when I first started, it was very challenging. It was hot outside, and so I really wanted to drink water so badly. But because 30 days is so long, when we offered up this challenge to people, we were like, if you don't do the full 30 days, you could do like 1 or 2 or like 10 days. So that's really awesome that you're going to strive for all 30 days and wearing the hijab. It's a huge commitment. And so I'm really proud of everyone, who's participating or thought about participating even. That's a huge step. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe how you've learned about Islam and World Hijab Day?
Well, like originally I'm from Detroit and I grew up near Dearborn, which has a huge Muslim population. And I grew up seeing women in hijab and I had read about Islam in school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned about World Hijab Day on Twitter. And every year I've participated since the very first one.
Wow. Since the very first World Hijab Day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That is amazing. So this is your first time doing the 30-day challenge for hijab?
Correct.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. How were your previous experiences with wearing hijab, like negative and positive comment wise?
Like the only negative comments, like my parents were worried about, people being hateful towards me, and I got a few stares. But like to quote one of my favorite movies, Hairspray, you gotta be prepared for a whole lot, a never-ending parade of stupid from a whole lot of ugly.
I think that when some of the biggest, I guess, challenges or negativity you face are people's concerns, that's usually pretty good though. When that's coming from someone's heart, they're not like, oh, like, why are you doing this? It's more like, oh, I hope that it goes well type thing.
My mom, we had a little bit of a debate at first about why I was doing this. And I pretty much, broke it down to her and told her about my promise to myself that I made while I was sick. So she's on board with it now.
Right. Since having COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So growing up in Dearborn, and I only learned like 2 years ago about the Muslim population in Dearborn being pretty big. Did you see those women in hijab facing discrimination? Did you see Islamophobia firsthand?
Like right after 9/11, I saw one of my favorite hair pharmacists get a lot of ugly and hateful comments. And I've seen some days where she would cry because of the hateful comments. And I remember my dad telling her, don't let these idiots bring you down.
That's good. Good. Yeah, it sounds like you are very helpful when it comes to the Muslim community around there.
Exactly. Like, one thing my parents taught me is like, love everybody. Like basically when it all comes to it, we're all siblings, things in his eye. And I also live by the Ravers mantra, which is on my bracelet: peace, love, unity, and respect. And I try to spread plur everywhere I go.
Those are definitely some good motives. We're really big, I think, on using unity because that's, that's what we want in the world, to stop hijabophobia, Islamophobia, for people just to understand, we're all on earth together, we got to make it through. So
Exactly.
you've got to have unity. So throughout the years of you participating, how have you felt wearing the hijab?
Well, I honestly feel like beautiful when I'm wearing the hijab. Like the first year, someone asked me how I felt on Instagram, and I said like a princess.
Like it's a crown.
Exactly.
Yeah. I hear women describe that a lot. I love that it can still like make you feel pretty because, a lot of people talk about like how hair is such a huge part of your beauty. And when you ask a woman, like why she wears hijab, women wear it for different reasons and they're protecting themselves in a way, or, like for them it's a form of worship, things like that. And so when somebody says, well, like I feel beautiful in it, and I also love it when people are like, well, I feel safe in it. Those are such important things. And I really think it's amazing when a non-Muslim can feel that way as well about, a hijab.
And I've loved the hijab since I was a little kid. Like when I was a little girl, I would and notice all the hijabis, and I would tell my mom, "Mommy, they're so beautiful."
That's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to, grow up seeing that. Unfortunately, it's sad that you had to see that Islamophobia, but I'm glad that you have decided to, take a stand kind of against that, by participating. That's really amazing for you to do that. What do you hope to personally gain from the experiences through Hijab 30 as well as the Fast for Unity?
Well, as far as the hijab goes, I want to know what it was like to walk a mile in my hijabi sister's shoes firsthand. Not just for one day, but for a whole month, because it's not just a one and day thing for my sisters out there. And as far as like the fast goes, I want to like get hit closer to like hit God spiritually and focus on my walk spiritually.
That's awesome. Great
And
answer.
and my church has actually a couple months back earlier, my church did a fast that was similar to Ramadan, so I'm actually kind of prepared for this.
I remember growing up, when we would go to church, I remember there were a couple of times I think my mom talked about fasting as well. And I think I had wanted to do it, but I hadn't really done it before I did the Hijab 30 challenge myself. But it was really cool because when I was doing it and I would go to the mosque and everything in the evenings and we would break fast together and everything, there were nights where there were kind of like interfaith events. So there would be people from the community come from different churches. And I was speaking to a lady one time and she said, we were actually fasting today as well. They said that they fast about one day a month. And so we actually got to break our fast together. And that was just really cool to me that we could do that. And I just think, every time you can find like a similarity or relate to someone, that just helps more, especially when you're in a small town where I lived. There's not a lot of visible Muslims, but when people come to the mosque, I think that's like a huge deal. And then, you find ways to relate to them. I think that's so important. So you said that your parents, you guys talked about why you were wearing hijab and, they just offered some concern. What about some of your friends and other family members?
Well, I haven't had any like concerns from like my other friends and family members, although my mom asked me if I was going to wear it to church because she doesn't want me to call too much attention and from like the service because I already stand out with my style of dress and stuff. She doesn't want me to like take away further attention from service.
Okay. I got it. Understandable. That's understandable. So why do you think it's important for other people to, like participate, for Fast for Unity and Hijab 30?
Well, I think it's important because, help people gain more of an understanding of what it's like to wear hijab, what it's like to live with wearing hijab, and understand that, Ramadan is more complex than, whatever preconceived notions they may have.
That's very true. Very true. I think it helps open to a lot of questions. For example, when a non-Muslim starts wearing hijab and, your friends or your family see it, that's when they'll ask questions. And then all of a sudden you're educating someone and you didn't even really have to, do anything other than, hey, I'm going to put this on. And then all of a sudden they're asking questions and learning something new, and you never know what that's going to lead to. Maybe they'll go on to educate someone, and that's kind of always been my hope. I think for my family, they learned a lot because I'm the only Muslim in my family, and so now if they come across someone who's Muslim, they know a little bit more. If they come across a hijabi, I think where my mom lives, there's a few people that she might see out and about. There's not a whole lot of visibility, but that Muslims are there because there are mosques and stuff. Participating in events like this, have you ever been to a mosque before?
No, but I've always wanted to go to one.
Yes. I love going for iftar, like during Ramadan and stuff. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I don't know that a lot of mosques will have those opportunities this year. I don't know about like maybe the US, there might be some places. I know a lot of places have opened up and things like that. But where I'm at, we're pretty much locked down. So people will have iftars online and things like that. And so there's a community. So I do hope that everybody participating will be able to kind of like look to World Hijab Day as a community as well. We're kind of like a big sisterhood of people, who participate and things like that.
That's what I love about the community. Like, I love the sense of, sisterhood and unity. And I loved all the positive feedback that I got from Muslims when I would post on Instagram in my hijab selfies. And, it makes me feel so like connected and loved. Like, I just love the warmth and energy.
Yes. I growing up, I was exposed to, a lot of religions and things like that. But whenever I went to college and I met Muslim people and then eventually moved to a bigger area, I kept telling my family, I said, Muslims are the nicest people I've ever met. And I think, if they hadn't been, then that wouldn't have led me on my journey, But it definitely made me want to be an advocate for them with all the negativity in the world and everything. Because right now, France has a lot of bans that they've been trying to do with hijab, especially. And so, that's the purpose of World Hijab Day, is to show people, hey, we're just people with an outward appearance of our faith. Christians wear crosses a lot and things like that. And so we just want people to know kind of who we are and why we're wearing it.
And the bands in France, that makes me even more stronger in my want to participate in the Hijab 30 challenge. Like, I got so angry when I heard about all the bands, and I actually ran in the kitchen, told my mom what was going on, and told her, this is why I'm doing this, Mom.
That's awesome.
Stuff like this.
Yeah, it's a struggle for sure, but that's why we have Hijab Day, and it connects us all over the world. Modesty table, have you seen the modesty table talks that are done through World Hijab Day?
I actually haven't, but I'm going to start checking them out.
Well, I believe there's going to be one this Friday, and we actually have a girl speaking from France.
Definitely don't want to miss it.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I think that's something that you'll really like. So before, you told me that you have a YouTube channel. Do you plan on, like documenting any of your journey through fasting and wearing hijab?
Actually, I am.
Awesome.
Like, I feel like this will be a good way for me to remember, or like my first full fast, almost like a visual scrapbook.
Yes. That's what I say about my YouTube channel. It's something that you can kind of like look back on and you share it with other people, but then, if there's other people in your videos, someday you can go back and look at that with them and remember some really good times and things like that.
And years from now, when I have kids, I want to be like, kids, this is one of mom's ways that she helped change the world one step at a time.
Exactly. That's awesome. I really like your mindset.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, through your previous experiences, have they changed over time? So you started with the very first World Hijab Day, and you've gone through these years. How has that changed?
Well, like for me, like experience wise, I've gotten more practice at how to wear the hijab. I learned about the different types, and I learned how to basically, fit my own style in with the hijab.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think sometimes it can take time. Whenever I started the challenge, I was like, "Oh, I have to make sure to wear the proper clothes." And since you're used to wearing, like, long sleeves, for example, in, like, the winter time, when it comes to summer, it's like, "What do I wear?" And still be comfortable. And, yeah, learning to wrap it is a feat in itself. I used YouTube personally. When I
That's how I used it, and I found I'm covered for or like when it starts to get warm because I found a whole bunch of lightweight tops and everything. So I think I'm going to do pretty awesome this year.
That's awesome. Good attitude to have. Definitely some positivity coming out of it. And there are stores near you that sell hijabs and things that you can go into and buy?
Yes, like one of my favorite stores that I found on Instagram is in Dearborn. It's called Hijabi, and I love their color selection. Like it's like the rainbow of hijabs there, and I've been dying to go there, so I'm finally going to get the opportunity this year.
That's awesome. There's just something about, for me, walking into a store that sells hijabs and, like, abayas, like the robes and things. I
And I've
just
always wanted an abaya. Like they're so beautiful.
Yes. And I think that they're good for, like, any time of year because even if it's cold, you can dress in warmer clothes. You can totally wear sweatpants under it if you want to.
I
Or,
can have the whole comfy feel.
yeah, you can be as comfortable as you want, but it's still it's gonna keep you covered. They're usually lightweight enough for summertime as well. Oh, it's so lovely for sure. And so, yeah, if you can find one at the store because you could wear it whenever.
And I love, having a wardrobe that's like versatile that I can wear whenever. Like I had this whole tomboy phase in high school. My wardrobe was pretty much the same all year round. Just throw long sleeve shirts under my band tees in the winter, wear the band tees by themselves in the summer. So I'm kind of applying the same principle.
Yeah. Just like style, clothing changes over time. A lot of times, like people's hijab styles change and the fabric and, you might use different colors. It can be really fun, to do that with your hijab. Because I tell people, like, yes, this is an outward appearance of my faith, but hijab is also like how you dress as well. And so people did make comments. They were like, after I converted, they were like, "You've even changed the way you dress a lot." And I was like, I didn't think it was that drastic of a change. I was like, my dresses are just a little bit longer. Instead of having sleeveless tops at work, I have longer sleeves now. I was like, everything just kind of got longer, a little bit flowier. But it's so much fun to be able to, like, wear, like, these fun skirts. Like, it did change my style in a way, but it didn't change just me completely. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, because at the core of it all, like you're still you. And I know my mom's going to be excited about me dressing modest because she's always like, your dresses are a little too short, your shirts are showing a little too much. So I know she's going to be happy seeing me dress modest for a month.
Yep. Modesty is different to everybody, but I think when it comes to hijab, like, you find your way eventually how to, like, wear it, navigate it, because I can't imagine, to me, it's uncomfortable if you have a t-shirt on and you wear hijab. I feel like the covering is weird. So I feel like I have to be proportionate, cover, like make sure my arms
Exactly.
covered. But for some people, it may be different. But yeah, I'm glad that you're so enthusiastic about it. I think that's really amazing, and that you've been doing it for so long. I think that's really cool. I don't think I learned about World Hijab Day. It had already been going on for a few years, and then I discovered the website, became an ambassador, and then eventually it led to me converting, you know. But
That's beautiful.
I met some awesome friends through, World Hijab Day. So you never know who you'll meet.
Exactly. Like some of my best as Instagram friends I met through World Hijab Day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. So, is there anything, like any advice you could offer somebody who might be taking the challenge and wearing hijab for the first time?
My biggest advice is have lots of hijab pins and don't go for the straight pins. Not everybody can use like straight pins on a hijab right away. I had so many finger poke accidents with them.
I think that's probably a common problem for people who wear pins. You end up poking your finger. Sometimes they fall out and like I think I lost one time and I was like, oh my gosh, is it somewhere in the carpet at home? Are we going to step on this?
And I learned to always carry spare hijab pins because just like earring backs, I'm always losing hijab pins.
Oh yeah, they'll fall out. You'll poke yourself. Sometimes I usually like end up poking my neck. So I use magnets a lot now. It's a little bit easier. I don't poke myself. But yeah, I think it's like you finding the fabric that works for you. You have to figure out how to adjust it and use pins or magnets, and different
Exactly.
types of clips to keep it on too. That's kind of like a whole process as well.
And also, like my advice for any hijabis who have like a natural textured hair,
Mhm.
always remember like precondition your hair first so it doesn't dry out. And coconut oil is your best friend. And make sure you wear like a satin undercap so your hair doesn't dry out underneath.
Yes, I've been learning about that recently. A lot of companies have come out with satin hijabs, and it does help people with textured hair who have to use hair products and things like that because it's going to keep all of that in there. Because otherwise, some people end up, they get like oil spots or something on
Exactly.
the hijab.
Like my hijab journey, my natural hair journey started at the same time. So it was like a lot of trial and error learning on both ends.
Yeah. I feel like wearing hijab in the beginning is definitely trial and error, and then you figure out what you like and what works for you. Like caps and like some people don't like under caps. Some people do how to wear your hair if you need it higher or lower. Make sure you don't get headaches, things like that. And once you figure it out, I feel like it gets so much easier. And I can't even imagine not wearing mine. So,
Like I know after it's all over, it's going to become like second nature and be like,
mhm.
oh yeah, I don't have my hijab anymore.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That is definitely how I feel. Second nature for sure. I can't imagine stepping foot outside the door. I'd be like, oh my gosh, where is it? You know?
Exactly. It's like when I don't have my glasses on, I instinctively go to push my glasses up, even
Yep.
though I'm not wearing them.
Yes, yes. I've actually had dreams before, and I was like, am I wearing my hijab? Oh my gosh, I'm not wearing my hijab. I have to go get it.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's like second nature. Even in your dreams, if you're not wearing it, you're like, no, I have to put it on. I think it's a good sign. You're well connected, But is there anything else you want to add that you want people to know about
Like,
you, about anything?
well, let's see. Like, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and learn new things. And, for anyone out there who has like an alternative aesthetic and they're afraid that they won't be able to mix it up with like wearing hijab, Trust me, that's not the case. There are plenty of alti people out there who wear hijab.
I like it. Stepping out of your comfort zone is really important. You know, I think sometimes we get too comfortable and we don't have a lot of experiences, you know? Like you want to go out and experience things. Like for me, I like to travel and sometimes that puts me out of my comfort zone, but I learn so much and I have a great time and it creates memories. And so I definitely think, you know, the hijab 30 challenge and fast for unity challenge is going to do that for a lot of people. I think it'll be a really positive experience, you know, when speaking to someone else, you know, I know that there's going to be some negativity. It kind of comes with it, but a lot of times I personally think that there's a lot more positivity, and it definitely outweighs the negative.
Exactly. Like, you always got to look for the positive in things. Like, even when, it doesn't seem like there's any positive aspects, trust me, they're there.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up. Every time I say the word wrap, I just think of my hijab.
Exactly.
So
hijab pun.
Thanks. It's my favorite. So I do want to tell everybody who's watching or will watch this broadcast that we have more information on our social media. You can find us on, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and YouTube at World Hijab Day. We also have our website, worldhijabday.com. If you are interested in taking part in Fast for Unity or Hijab 30, there is information on all of our social media and our websites. If you're not sure about how fasting works, we do have some bullet points for you to kind of guide you through that, because yes, not even water. Everybody always asks, not even water? And no, we don't drink water during our fasting. So we hope that you will participate. And thank you so much to everybody who joined us. I always want to say who joined us this morning, because for me and you, it's morning, but there's people watching from all over the world. So if you stayed up late to watch us, or it's the middle of the afternoon and you're watching from work, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think you can see the website here on the banner. And thank you so much, Nikki, for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'll say salam to everyone.